Hey, what's going on, guys? So if you have a Hampton Bay ceiling fan or any kind of fan that uses a remote, you're going to need to get a remote online, Hampton Bay remote. I got it on Amazon, and the model number for this, I'll put in the description. U as in uniform, C as in Charlie, 7078, T as in Tango. All right, so in order to pair this remote, the problem here that we had is that this fan had no remote at all. So we would turn the switch on and it would turn the light out, and we couldn't use the fan itself. We were trying to use the fan. So you need the remote. The problem is that the remote wasn't working. And the reason is because the remote and the fan receiver inside has something called dip switch settings. So I'll show you how this works. So in the back of the remote, by the way, this is a 9-volt battery, so you're going to need to buy that. It doesn't come with the 9-volt battery. All right, so let me take the battery out so you can see. Okay, behind the remote inside, those are called the dip switch settings. Now, when I got the remote, it was actually set on 1, 2, 3, and 4 were on. When the switches are flicked up, when all the switches are flicked up, it is in the on position. So when I tried to use the remote, it actually did not work. But interestingly enough, we have 2 Hampton Bay fans in my other room here, and I'm going to show you this fan. It actually worked when I went to use it, which is really funny because I have the operations on the wall, but no remote for this fan. So it worked for this fan, but not the other fan. The reason it didn't work for this fan, I'll tell you why in a second here, is because of the dip switch settings. So you need to know what the dip switch settings are for the fan that you have. One way you can do this is if you have a remote already that already has the settings set. But the real proper way to know what your dip switch settings are in the fan is by actually taking that fan down. And I'm going to do that right now for you so you guys can see this. All you have to do is unscrew the top part of your fan, a couple screws. You don't have to take the blades down, just this portion of the light. Now it is hanging down. It's not how it's supposed to be. It's hanging. It's not going to fall down. But if you look here, there's a connector piece. All you have to do is press that button and the fan will release. This whole mechanism will come down. I'll show you. Just press this button, squeeze it. You can do it while it's on or off. I recommend turning the light off, but I did it while the light was on. It doesn't really matter. Okay, now let me take this over here. Okay, so here is the receiver. This is how it operates with the remote control instead of the manual string feature. You take this out. Here are the dip switch settings, and now you're going to look and see what they are set on. So this setting has number 1 down, which is off. 2, 3, and 4 are on. Now I need to match up these dip switch settings from this receiver to this remote. So number 1 needs to be down. You can use your fingernail or anything that will help you to push that number 1 button down. This may be different for your fan, but you need to know what it's set on, and you can change it yourself. You can say, hey, I want number 2 to be the setting. Well, whatever you set on this needs to be the same for your remote. Once that's set correctly, all you have to do is put this back in as it was, push it down, and you're going to reconnect your connector. Okay, I've reconnected the connector. I wouldn't necessarily let it hang like this. I'm only doing this so you guys can see. I want to show you that this does work with the correct dip switch settings. Make sure your 9-volt battery is connected, and let's test it out. Off. There you go. Light works. Let's try the fan. Okay, fan works. It's starting, and it's good. Now, if I were to use this remote on my other fan, it actually would not work because the dip switch settings are different for that fan in the other room. But this is how you set or pair your remote control, Hampton Bay remote control, or any remote control for a fan for it to operate. The dip switch settings must be set the same way as the receiver and the remote. Like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!